dogs, unlike humans, they do not generalize behaviors very well. And they're like, well, what does that mean, Jack? And I'm like, if I teach you to do a cartwheel in your living room, you can probably go out back and do a cartwheel. But if I teach your dog something in here, it doesn't mean your dog's going to be able to or understand that they should also do it out there upon your request.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gold Center podcast. My name is Brandon, and today, as always, I am joined by my amazing co-hosts, Kate and Brianna. And today we have a really special guest, Jack Bowker, the CEO and Dean of Ruff University. So, as always, Jack, how did you get in the field? Who are you? And what's in the future?
Hello, and awesome job with the intro there. I love it.
Thank you. I nailed it, right?
So, Jack, very simply stated, right? Because a lot of times people tend to mess up the last name. So, so Ruff University came about specifically, well, there's a lot of history there, but it came about because obviously my interest in applied behavior analysis, that's what started it all for me. Obviously, the dog piece, being a dog lover, and just putting them together. That obviously took some time because my previous career was not specific to dog training per se. I worked around dogs and working dogs. So depends on how far back you want to go with this, but
However far back you'd
so
like.
once I obtained my master's in applied behavior analysis from Rowan University, that obviously was fireworks for me. At the time, being a detective and thinking that this was going to help me better understand not only behavior in general, but my own behavior. Conducting interviews and things of that nature. But I saw it as a way to view everything in life and better understand, what people did, why they did it, and how I could help in not only understanding that, but shaping more desirable behaviors, if you will. Right. So from there, light bulb came on at some point, and I said, applied behavior analysis is very much applicable to, ASD, and which is, awesome. That's where we need the most emphasis. But I wanted to kind of fall back on B.F. Skinner and, being able to better disseminate in the field or in the world, for that matter. So I came up with the idea of Ruff University, and
now it's RUFF.
Correct, RUFF.
Okay.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
for our viewers.
Kind of like what I'm doing over here. So, so Ruff University, I said I wanted it to be, let me back up. So I wanted to take behavior analysis and push it directly into dog training. For many different reasons, but obviously Ruff University came from that because it's more of an educational-based company. But I thought that, hey, I could help change people's lives by interacting with them and their dogs. And I think what a lot of people tend to miss is that in that field, dogs, right, dog training, it's not just the dog. And so that's kind of where that came up. I wanted it to be catchy, obviously. If you didn't already know, my doctorate is business administration. So I have a DBA in organizational leadership, and my master's is ABA from Rowan. So putting them together, business ideas, but also having interacted with so many children and adults throughout my entire career, both military side and law enforcement side, I thought that this would be a great way to disseminate behavior analysis in a way that is almost kind of hidden. It's not really in your face, if you will. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who do push it a lot more. I do on socials just for, awareness, for learning purposes or teaching purposes. But it's, hey, we have positive trainers and then we have everything else. And so that's kind of what got me kicked off there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to go back to where you said you went back for your master's in ABA, and at that point in time, you were a detective. So a lot of us accidentally found ABA. So how did you kind of find that segue from being a detective and then realizing ABA is another career path that you could go down?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And of course, I didn't think of providing an answer for something that good. But yeah, no, for me, and I'm really glad you asked that because it's foundational for me. Like my fireworks were amazing. So I initially was looking at different degree paths and education in general. I love learning, so I consider myself a lifelong learner. I don't know everything. I don't think I will ever know everything, and so I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I am very much hungry. I was looking at psychology programs and things throughout, and I said, well, how can I have the military help me out with another degree? And so I was looking at Rowan and saw clinical psychology and all types of good stuff. And then I fell upon behavior analysis, ABA, and I'm like, what? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't that what that is?
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I was absolutely clueless in 2017. And I'm reading and I'm going through Rowan's stuff, and I guess I'm giving them a plug here, but hey. So for me, I was like, wait a minute, this is godly. I'm like, this is unbelievable. This is what I thought psychology was. And realized that it wasn't, and talked about how, we could shape behavior, influence behavior, decrease behavior. And I'm like, well, that's what I want to do. I want to know what makes people tick.
Right.
What makes people do the things that they do. And even for me, like, why do I do this? The things that I do or have done, right? So let's learn. This is, and I'm like, this is going to be challenging for me coming from a criminal justice background. And I'm like, this is totally off track. What are you doing? But I made sense of it. And I'm like, no, you deal with people every day. And it's probably a smart move. And it was. It was one of the most difficult things I've done.
Interesting.
In terms of education, very, very difficult time. I spent 4 years because I started part-time and realized that part-time was full-time. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't like this.
Welcome to grad school.
I'm like, I don't like this trick. What do you
Fast
mean
track.
one more gives me full-time? So, yeah, so I changed that pretty quickly. But I fell in love. I did. I absolutely fell in love. And I'm like, this is everything that I've ever imagined, like wanting to learn. And I did. I was hit hard. Yeah. So I hear a lot of the stories out there, but that was mine. And I'm like, I can apply this in law enforcement, not in a street cop way. I looked at it more so as being able to not only, suspects. People always think law enforcement and there's this, tag with it sometimes. But for me, it was like, how can I be more impactful with people that I deal with? However you want to look at that. And for me, for the most of the time was dealing with victims. So I love it. And I just kept going, and I struggled for about 2 minutes. And then I realized that I wasn't the only one, that everybody does. And I'm like, all right, you got it. And that was that.
When you say you struggled, was it the material or the schedule?
Well, so I was still working full time
Okay.
as a detective. So the schedule was a little tough because it was somewhat reasonable, although it was pushed as an adult program. And I'm like, well, adults work past, 1600 or 4 o'clock or whatever it was, 3:30, 15:30, right? So I was a little concerned about that. I used personal time, vacation time. I had to do all types of magic tricks to make it happen, and still my kids. And so there was a lot going on, and I'm like, it wasn't really for me. Hey, I'm, great. But it was, my drive or momentum, if you will, was aimed more so for my kids or anybody else soldier-wise that maybe wanted to do something bigger. And they're like, you come up with every excuse that you possibly can. And for me, it's like, hey, look, if in 15 years from now, my kid's on the couch and saying, oh, yeah, I just can't do it. And it's like, well, Dad did that. Plus, he did more. So, that was kind of my drive. And I wanted it. And I think I wanted it even more once I tasted it. And I got to realize, I was able to realize how significant, and it's almost so simple that it's complex.
Yeah.
And I know you all know that, but it kind of drove me wild, if you will, because I'm like, yeah, this is something I want to chase.
Yeah.
And then I knew that I'd be able to apply it in all different settings, and so that's what I went with. And I also was challenged quite a bit by some of the professors, but yeah. And I think that's because of who I was, right? So it's like you're some middle-aged dude coming in here, like, you know, and there's young people who this is their dream. This is what they want to do. And similar to law school, I was going to do that as well at one point. Yeah, and I'm like, no, I got it. I'll do it. I'll make it happen. So I did receive 1 B- at one point, and so I was on the list.
B's get degrees, man.
Well, not a B-.
In grad school.
Yeah. A B does, not a B-.
Right.
It was a B-, and they're like, yeah, 1 year probation and one more, and we'll probably remove you. And I'm like, wow, this is serious.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you definitely present as somebody who, like, once they put their mind to something, like, hell or high water, like, you're still going to figure out a way to make it happen. So I could see that was the mentality.
Yeah.
And setting the example for your kids was just like the extra push.
Yeah, no, absolutely was. And, you know, I think everybody has it. I really do. I think it's just a matter of tapping into those areas that need to be revealed. That's really it. And I see it, soldiers, you know, people I've dealt with through my other career, and I love being able to find those areas and inspire and influence people. So back to Ruff University. Yeah, so I'm like, look all these people out here. And that's really the big thing for me. It was like, there's so many trainers, and I love it. And I have even seen that you guys have done some stuff a little while back. And I was so fired up about that as well. And I'm like, no, certification, I'm going full boat. Yeah. Like, I am completely in here because I want to apply 1 degree to the certification, and then, again, just be able to disseminate in a way that a lot of people aren't doing that, right? Yeah. So for me, it was like, all right, how can I get into people's lives and impact change? And they almost don't even realize. And it's not, you know, something that's bad or sneaky. It's, I'm giving you tools. This is the way I look at it, again, back to Ruff University. Education, right? Transfer of knowledge. I think that is the most important piece of any training or any life skill, is that transfer of knowledge and being able to get someone to believe and understand what they're doing and what the consequences are. Yeah. So, you know, most dog trainers are like, hey, up, sit, that's easy. Up, down, stay, leave it, drop it, recall. That's great, wonderful. But I'm like, I can apply behavior modification plans. I can do things that others can't do. Yeah. And all using positive reinforcement techniques. So, I mean, that's my big thing. And so the under the radar piece is really about going into homes and seeing that they've had a trainer there before. Dog is still super reactive, high motor drive dog, middle-aged lady or man, and they're like, what do I do? Dog is going back to the rescue.
It's so sad.
Yeah. And so for me, I've seen that a couple of times. And so obviously modification takes some time, and you can't put a stamp on it and say, hey, 2 weeks and we're good. Give me $25,000, right? Yeah. But a lot of people are doing that in the field. Yeah. And I saw that. So it really pissed me off. Yeah. So I was like, you know, I'm going to go out and undercut and kind of take the hits for a little while, slowly increase, but get the message out there. And that was really what I wanted to do. So again, the under the radar piece is being able to get people to realize that your dog's not a jerk. You're not doing what you need to do, right? Yeah. Your behavior directly impacts your dog's behavior. Very simple. There's no other way to really clearly state that better. So that's kind of the kickoff there.
I tell that to my dad about my parents' dog all the time. She's an English bulldog, and when we first got her, he's like, you could teach her how to ride a skateboard, right? I was like, yes. However, she doesn't even have table manners. She's barking because she knows that you'll give her food from the table. So we can't teach her to ride a skateboard until that's down. So no, she can't ride a skateboard, and she's 10 now.
Not yet. That comes in the later years.
Yeah.
I was going to say, being heavily invested in the Doberman community, and this is probably an area that the listeners don't know of my life, but I have 2 Dobermans, and Athena was my first Doberman, and I fell in love with the breed immediately. However, going into my 10th year now with Dobermans, I've seen a lot of one of 2 things. They send the dog to a board and train, and the dog returns home, and then everything falls apart because they're not trained to do exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
The contingencies are a lot different. Or second, somebody comes in like you and tells them exactly what they need to do and realize that this dog is just way more work than they ever expected. And with a working breed, a lot of people expect the dog to settle down or be less energetic by a certain age, when in all reality, I have a 10-year-old female and she acts like she's 2.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge piece of understanding what you're getting into before you even get there. Because like you said, you get this high energy dog, and then you have this person who just wants a dog who is comfortable with just laying on the couch all day. And it's like, well, that some of those popular breeds aren't bred for that. They're meant to go and run till they can't anymore. So I think that's a huge piece of it, is just being educated before you purchase the breed that you'd really like to have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that anymore. That's a big one. I have quite a few, actually. Let me pull this closer. I have quite a few clients that I've worked with who, dog parents as I call them, where they've rescued, right? Because that's a great thing to do. And but that message is pushed so much that everybody does go and do that. And that's awesome. But knowing what you're getting into is a big deal. And some of them did not know. And
I almost think you need to be more educated than if you went and just got a puppy, because that's a blank slate.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting. The most, obviously medical and things like that. But when you get or adopt and you don't shop, you could be getting anything.
Yeah.
And if you're not educated enough, you won't know what to do when they are reactive or aren't crate trained or.
Yeah.
As far as any kind of constructive feedback, have you had to give a lot of pretty tough feedback, or just constructive outlines
I feel like
to a
your
lot of the parents?
entire Ruff University is based on constructive feedback.
It is. It can be. And, it's.
Has any of it been rough?
Yeah. Some of it has. I've actually had people where, getting ready to deploy, right? So when I return, I'm going to open a facility. That's the plan, an actual Ruff University. And when I do that, I am then going to, just like a university would, I will screen. If I do not feel as though you really want to train with your dog and put the time and effort in, then I will not accept you. However, I still want to provide knowledge to them, and raise awareness, because I don't want them going down the street and putting, using aversive techniques and equipment. I know that's a big sticky area. So I walk the line a little bit with it. I don't with my clients. And I'll never blame someone for anything, because you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know at one point. I had no idea, absolutely clueless. But I have. I've went to homes. I've had high motor drive dogs, highly predacious, right? And dogs, and the dog parent is like, what do I do? And it's like, well, first thing is you understanding what you're doing is impacting that dog's behavior.
Yes.
The second thing is you want to take all the crap off of their neck, because I promise you your relationship is going to shit. And that's one of my big things too. Again, I know what the research says, because I've seen probably most of it, because all I've done since my certification has been research. It's all about creating a bond, a relationship with your dog, establishing that trust, then you can go. Yeah. Until that point, nothing's going to happen. Yeah. There's 2 things you need, and this is something I tell people all the time too, is like you need to have trust bond, right? And then you have to understand motivation.
Yeah.
So I say motivation because that's what makes sense to most people.
course.
And then I further explain in my consultation and talk for 25 hours about, I do like the way I sound in this.
It's nice, right?
I hate my voice. But then I talk to them about reinforcers and preference assessments, reinforcer assessments, because they're like, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean by that? And I'm like, look, I know I gave you a ton of info, but we're going to cover it throughout all of our sessions.
Yeah.
And as we go through, they're like, light bulb comes on. And I'm like, that's how I felt years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like you're giving your fireworks to them.
And it's like, hey, lady, why are you giving a dog a milk bone? And dog's like pound sand.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
something as simple as that. I'm just giving you, an
Well,
idea, but
that-
it's like milk bone's awesome. It's a staple, household name. I love it. It's great. Vets carry them, and I'm always laughing when I go see the vet because I'm like, you should know better that this is not a high value food item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. This
It's
is
not
a cracker.
stinky.
Is
Yeah.
what it is. Right. It's a cracker. Right. So, so I try to break it down for everybody in that sense to make it as clear as possible. And it's like, if I do this, then this happens. If I don't do this, then this doesn't happen. But those hard conversations or tough conversations definitely happen. And it's like, look, I love you, but you're not listening, right?
Yeah.
So hear me out. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you do this, you should see this result. And if you don't, whatever you're using sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's one of the most fun things is finding what motivates your dog. See, people just seem to think like my dog, they're just motivated by food. All dogs are motivated by food. Maybe, but guess what? There may be something that's even more motivating.
Yeah.
Like my male was never food driven. He
And
was
that can
very
be
much
tough.
and he was very much attention driven.
Yeah.
So you had to be really animated when you were training and like give him that or like robust praise and like that high pitched voice and like that's what made him like really focus and lock into what you wanted because he wanted to please you. My female, on the other hand, she is very food motivated. So it's a little bit easier to train because she just will do anything for that treat. But helping your clients find that, what do you typically do in terms of preference assessments in dogs?
Well, again, I try to make it as simple as possible so it's something that they can do on their own and it's not something they have to go out and do a ton of research on. But I mean, something as simple as, hey, look, we're now out in your backyard, right? And I have hot dog, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's a dog trainer secret is hot dogs, right?
Yes.
But so I will put the disclaimer out there. Sodium levels up means higher water intake, right? Increased water intake means more pee. So, yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah. So
Especially
also
for
more
house training.
opportunities for training and house training. So.
Yes. But you want to do that outside and when they're coming up from a squat or lowering a leg and mark and reward immediately. But yeah, so I've been outside and I'll have, hot dogs and they're like, oh, wow, that stuff really works well in the house. Or I'll use bacon,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give another plug, but whatever, bacon treats and that are, safe, natural, and they're like 1.5 grams or calories per. But I've actually been outside where I'll have hot dogs and it's like, oh yeah, you're winning, Jack. This is great. Look at what you're doing with my dog. We go outside, I have the hot dogs, and then I grab a ball because they're working with a Belgian Malinois mix.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, look how that's changed all of a sudden. Hot dog, yeah, is cool, but if you play with me with that ball
Yeah.
and I can gain access to that ball, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wait a minute. And I'm like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. There's a scale here, right? So you can see it and make it very clear or try to. It doesn't work every single time because every dog is different and every environment's different. So that's something else that I express all the time is that dogs, unlike humans, they do not generalize behaviors very well. And they're like, well, what does that mean, Jack? And I'm like, if I teach you to do a cartwheel in your living room, you can probably go out back and do a cartwheel. But if I teach your dog something in here, it doesn't mean your dog's going to be able to or understand that they should also do it out there upon your request.
Yeah. There's also
So
a
they're
lot
like,
more
"Oh, wow."
stimuli in the environment that's distracting.
That's or offers more reinforcers
Correct.
or whatever. So
Yes.
yeah, why the hell am I? They're like, oh, well, I called the dog back. The dog wouldn't come back. Well, listen, Sally, I'm going to tell you right now. You just saying come is not going to work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you haven't, that reinforcement history sucks. So let's talk about it. But again, it's sometimes difficult because I have to go from 0 to and building up. So as I tell them, I also need to be self-aware in doing that when I transfer knowledge, right? So they'll go, oh, yeah, I want my dog to heel. And I'm like, look, first and foremost, you don't need your dog to walk by your side all the time. That's ridiculous. It's a dog. You want to take your dog out, let them sniff and be a dog, right? Enrichment, stimulation, all that good stuff. That'll pay off later, trust me. But yeah, having a cool heel or foos or whatever you want to call it, it is pretty cool when you need it, right? But you can't go from 2nd grade to 10th grade.
Yeah.
You have to, there's steps.
Yeah.
And so even when people call about like, hey, I have a 2-year-old, I want to do this and this. And, oh, by the way, they go ape shit at nighttime. And it's like, all right, well, we can deal with
the
that
zoomies,
too.
the
Let's-
ghost hour. Yeah.
yeah, let's define those fraps because that's what it is, frenetic, random activity periods, I think it is. But yeah, so like we have to define that stuff, right? Because that's one of our big things in behavior analysis. It's like, wait a minute, oh, I'm nuts. Well, what does that really mean, right?
Yeah.
It means
Operas, you
something
define
for
that.
us in our little society, subculture, whatever you want to call us, but it doesn't mean shit to the person who's in an island in the middle of the Pacific.
Yeah.
They don't know what that means. Are you giving me food? What does that mean? So again, another way that I try to explain it to people, and I'm like, okay, so like A, B, C's, write them down at nighttime. What happens right before that behavior? What's that behavior? Let's define that behavior. What happens right before it? That's A, right? B, and then C, the consequence. Consequences shape behaviors. Yeah. Tracking. And they're like, I'm like, so write that stuff down. And what I like about that is that oftentimes they'll text or call me before our next session.
That's cool.
And they're like, hey, buddy, guess what? This has happened 12 times in the last 2 days. And I'm like, yeah, what's your consequence been?
Yeah.
And they're like, this. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, it's not working.
So-
That was
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
good consequence.
So not mad at you. I actually love you for letting that come to life for you. So now how do we deal with it? Right? So I like to try to give people the opportunity to come up with their own plans, right? Their own game plan. Like, hey, how could I intercept and get wild here and apply behavior analytic principles that Jack's been talking about so crazily, right? Like, and I use all these mentalistic terms on purpose. But so it's fun. I love it. It's become a lot bigger than I thought it was going to become.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, all right, similar to starting off in ABA, doing the same thing here. And I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'm growing. So facility and I want to, the board and train thing's a touchy topic for me. You brought that up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times trainers will take dogs in for several $1,000s.
Yes. That's exactly
And
what I was referring
oftentimes
to.
dogs are sitting in crates, kennels, and maybe some training, maybe some exposure, maybe some stimulation, enrichment, maybe not. And again, how do you transfer that knowledge, right? So there has to be a system in place.
Yeah.
Systems and processes, that's how things work.
Yeah.
So lawful and orderly behavior, right? Are you guys on with me?
Yeah.
So I want to do that, but I want to do it as a day train type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will not keep dogs overnight. I don't want anything to
Will
do
you
with it.
incorporate their trainers? Like their household
Oh,
owners?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
So-
that to me is the missing link here.
It is.
Like,
No, you're right. The transfer of knowledge is
Correct.
everything. So just for an example, as an example, Monday through Friday would be the training. We train dog to do all types of cool stuff and be responsive, receptive to cues, cue requests. And then you come in on Saturday or Sunday or both, however I set it up. And that transfer of knowledge happens.
Yeah.
And you to understand how to maintain those behaviors using preferably intermittent reinforcement as opposed to continuous reinforcement, which is great for training new behaviors,
correct.
but for maintaining intermittent reinforcement. I always use the casino slot machines
Oh,
as an
we used
example.
to use
Yeah.
that too during training. That's so funny.
I do it with dog parents all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Jackpot.
exactly. And so jackpot is something I say, not because my name is Jack, but I say jackpot.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So jackpot all the time. And so I have people like, Jack, yeah, we just did it. We did a huge jackpot,
Can you explain that to everybody who
Yeah.
does not train dogs?
Yeah. So I'll give away a little secret here. So for recall training, some call it a bulletproof recall. There's no such thing. I want you all to know that I'm saying it publicly. because something can always outdo what you have or what you
Yeah.
have trained. And just like behavior never is never truly extinct, behavior can always come back. Same with that side. You can have your dog respond to you in terms of recall every single time for a year, and they turn around and one day they're like, something else is more
They
important.
blow you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of that train up is I do a 5 days in a row, 2 times per day, that they
Is that
essentially
feeding
jackpot
times? Oh, okay. I thought you
the
meant
dog for
okay.
recall. Yeah, utilizing a sound of their choice.
Interesting.
So in pretty much this entire area from here down, South Jersey and Philly, if you pull out your best Ric Flair, you're probably going to see a lot of dogs coming to you, even from older women and men. It's pretty cool to watch. But so I have them pick a sound, and I do that because if there's construction or you're outside and there's kids and whatever, Sally come is just
Yeah.
not gonna
Yeah.
work.
Noise.
But if
That's
you hit
a
him with
nice-
a woo,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. See, I almost
Listen.
jumped on you there,
No,
right? Yeah. But it does. It works. It cuts through, and hopefully you don't take your dog to a concert or something like that, or Phil's
Yeah.
game, and they won again today. Thank you. But anyway, yeah. So that's something we do. Jackpotting 5 days in a row, twice a day, at least twice a day, and by that third day, 6 times, second time during the third day, they're like, wow. They see that connection. The dog has now made, hey, that sound means something, right? It's valuable. There's and you're basically pairing primary reinforcer of the food, if you're using food, to a secondary reinforcer, which is now that sound. So making it almost as valuable as the food until it's not. Because then what ends up happening is after they do the jackpot period and they get to day 5, dog is now zipping through the entire house, 3 floors to get to you when you make that noise. So I tell people, look, you got to be careful because your dog's going to hurt themselves or
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
I did have, again, an older woman. Love her. She's awesome. She's amazing. She did such a wonderful job with her dog. Really, really cared about her dog and applied everything. And I was like, you're like the best.
Yeah.
I have young kids who are not doing these things, but almost knocked her over. Like
Drive is drive.
yeah. So, but then what ends up happening? So that's the jackpotting piece, and jackpotting is, that's we talk about the casino slot machine. Think about it this way, like in terms of behavior. Why do you keep going to the casino and smacking the button on the slot machine or cranking? Because I usually give a full video to my clients. I'm like doing this or smacking depending on age, and I'm like, because at some point you're going to hit, right?
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you coming back. That's intermittent reinforcement. One of the most difficult behaviors to extinguish intermittently reinforced behaviors. I can't even talk now, right? So intermittent reinforcement is awesome. That's what you want to do to maintain behaviors, right? That continuous reinforcement, that 5 days, 2 times a day, minimally, is more so, I guess you could throw it into the continuous reinforcement, jackpotting, right? But then after that, it's like, you still need to do this. We'll fade out the food, Laura's prompts, all that good stuff, because I don't want your dog to turn into a huge beast, right? And then you're going to be mad at me. Ruff University LLC, by the way. So, so you have to fade. But how do you do that? So we go through that as well, because that's very important, because otherwise they end up losing these, that behavior, the repertoire, right?
Right.
Behaviors end up becoming extinguished because they don't know how to maintain them. And now you jackpotted the shit out of the dog for 5 days, then you turn around on Saturday or Sunday and you give them, oh, good boy. That's great. Great job.
And he's like, where's my treat?
No, that's cool. And that works in a lot of other areas. And that will work for that later. But you need to now fade that out and not just be that big of a jump. So go to 4 treats.
Right.
And then go to 1 and then skip 1 and then come back and do a jackpot. And then once you get that down, the behavior's strong, fluent. Now you're in. So I think I answered the question.
You did.
without going
No, you
too many
did.
circles.
I just
All
know not a lot of people use that term. It's behavior analytic in nature when you break it down. However, if you're not in
just
dog
kinda like a
training, you
wild
typically
term.
don't use that term.
Which one?
Jackpot.
Oh, yeah.
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 Not
So
for
other
dogs anyway.
So other dog trainers aren't saying that?
They are, but
Okay, all
I
right.
train heavily in the dog
Yeah.
training community
yeah,
where
yeah.
others don't.
I'll say
so-
Okay.
I've never heard of it.
Okay.
That's why I'm
So
saying,
that-
like,
that
Well, I
was a
feel
nice-
good
that
now.
was a
Like,
nice
I feel even
breakdown.
better. I'm like, see, I know what I'm talking
Transfer
about.
knowledge.
Yeah,
That was it right there. Transfer
Yeah, so
knowledge.
jackpotting's a big deal. Write that down. I'm stomping my foot. Yeah.
trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's many others that have said it before me, but
Yeah.
and same thing. Like, I don't know everything, right? I am certified through one of the 4 major organizations. I know New Jersey has a bill in assembly right now, assembly bill. It's Alpha A1212, I think it is, and it's for licensure for dog trainers.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Certificate.
Cool.
It's a legit thing. It's in writing right now, and it's basically if you are not certified and licensed, then you'll be fined. I don't know. It's like $2,000 each time.
Wow.
So I'm like, hey, Ruff University, I'll be the only one out here. So
Yep.
Yeah.
not really, but and it's funny, I'm saying that, but I also talk to people about going to PetSmart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of that.
Do they
right?
still do those group training days?
They do.
Yeah,
They
because
do?
every time I
Okay.
walk in to be sneaky and buy some treats and then get out of there, right? I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. Or never mind, whatever. So anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
You can say whatever you want.
But
on
no,
there.
I do. So oftentimes I will tell. Like I had one recently call. They called. They wanted all this information. They've got a puppy, and they're like, "Yeah, we need to train the dog." The dog has the zoomies, right? Fraps, and the dog
That's
also.
so funny. I've never heard fraps.
Yeah,
before.
that's
I learned
that's
something
dog.
new
That's
today.
real dog training. That's
Yeah.
science right
Yeah.
there. Frenetic random activity periods. Pretty sure is what it is.
There you go.
But yeah, so that was happening, and also some lunging and jumping for sleeves, shirt bottom, stuff like that. And they were like, "Yeah, can we do that stuff first? Can we prioritize that?" And I'm like, "I can with the jumping, and trust me, after our consultation alone, you're going to be like, oh my God, but I just heard all this stuff. What do I do?"
Yeah.
But I'll give you the keys to unlock that area or to lock it back up. But you have to go through sit down, stay, leave it, drop it, and come.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you mean? Because you have to have a foundation. You have to be, build the relationship with your dog, and trust and all those things happen during that stage.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of trainers were like, will say, no, like I'm not going to just come over and do that. You know what I mean? You need to do these things. It's not because people want to take your money. It's because you have to have, and even a trainer has to have a relationship with the dog.
Agreed.
Yeah. Some of the places I go to, some of the houses I go to, I have people that are like, hey, your dog or my dog likes you more than they like me. And they're laughing. They're, being funny, but it's half truth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I pay the shit out of them.
Right.
Right. Like anybody that comes over and feeds your dog all
Right.
the time,
Yes.
your dog is going to love them more than you.
Yeah.
Satiation. Do you ever hear of that? And I'm like, that's you. Right. It's like husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Like I see you every day. We say, I love you 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9. And now it's like, hey, what's up? All right. I'll see you in a little while. Right. So like just to get people to understand where I'm coming from. So it's the same thing. Like I'm there, and it's intermittent, really. It's not continuous. I'm not there all day. So I try to wrap it all up and give it to them that way so they better understand it. But I'm like, if you sit around and feed your dog all day long, they're gonna like you a lot more too.
Yeah.
Get what I'm saying? So build that trust, build the relationship, and don't lie to your dog, because your dog will know when you say, hey, you want to do this, and they know what that means, and
Yeah.
then you're like, psych. Yeah, because that's not going to work out well, because they do,
That's so sad.
Hold that in.
You wouldn't do
So-
that to your kids. You know what I mean? You're like, you want to go to the park? And then like, don't take
like,
them to the park.
yeah, now go to your room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do. And that's where I was going with all this is like, this whole thing is kind of snowballed for me. And again, back to I'm learning as I go too, right? In terms of just dealing with different people, different personalities, if you will, and the learning habits of others. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and sometimes I talk like this, hello, I'm Dr. Jack and I'm here for you. Whatever you need, and I'll give you a full assessment. I'll give you everything, right?
Yeah.
And then other times like, yo, what's up, bro? Check this out. Look, you're wrong. This is wrong. I love you. Don't be mad at me. I'm not yelling at you, but your dog doesn't like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that gets through. I don't know. It seems to work so far. So I think I went in a circle again. Back to you.
Yeah.
Something you said earlier, I connected with so much so because obviously I am a behavior analyst and my significant other is not. So there's a lot of those conversations and bringing him into that sphere and like what we study. So my dog, my male Arkham, when we first got him, he did have the zoomies quite often at a certain time of night. Me knowing that he's very attention maintained, I started to notice that he would do the zoomies and the very loud aggressive barking. Not aggressive like I'm going to attack you, is more like, hey, I want your attention. And then everybody would turn and yell at Arkham. Stop doing that. Don't do this. And I'm like, don't you see how he's just continuously barking? You guys are reinforcing his behavior. And they're like, well, then what do you want us to do? I was like, watch this. I like turned my whole body around and my back to him, stopped immediately.
Yeah.
He literally was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Look at me. Like, look what I'm doing. He's like, that doesn't work. I'm like, turn around. And he turned around on the couch. Like, literally, we're both facing the backs of the couch. Stopped doing it. Walked away. And then from there on out, every time he started doing that, we would just put our back to him, and then he would completely stop.
Yeah. You know, it does work, but we live in a day and age where, like, even for me, I mean, I've grown to become that way. Hey, this is what we want. We want it now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got the wrong guy because I'm not a magician. Like,
Right.
This is how it works. So planned ignore or, whatever, ignoring is a real thing. You have to do it, right? If the attention, it's a, attention function. Hello.
Yeah. Especially with
right?
like crate training and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy
it's
because
very difficult.
listening to your
It's a
dog
pain in the
cry and
ass
whine,
is what-
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I had one of those recently where a dog was, she was waking up 2:30, 3:30 in the morning and, hey, I want to go out and hunt. That's really what it was all
Hunt.
about. Yeah, hunt.
Yeah.
Hunt. Yes, predaceous
I'm
behavior.
bored.
Yes, let's
Yeah.
go. And there's Malinois mix,
Okay.
Shepherd. Awesome dog. Love this dog to pieces. But I'm like, okay, so what's happened every time that she whines or jumps on the bed or whatever? Well, I take her out back. Yeah, it's a beautiful backyard. It's huge, right? It's dark. There's all this shit running around out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at 2:30 in the
I'm
morning.
going to growl and bark at you too and jump up on the bed. But, I said, so listen, like if there's an underlying medical issue, I'm a doctor, professional doctor, but I am not a medical doctor. So vet. There's my disclaimer. But I will tell you, if there's no issue, then ignore. I know it's going to be tough. Put some earphones on, whatever you need to do, right? She doesn't have to pee or deuce or whatever you want to call it. Ignore.
Yeah.
Okay. So did that for like 2 nights. And then she's like, well, I'm noticing a little bit different. She's a little louder. And okay. Hey, extinction burst. So then explaining that. And I'm like, think of the kid in the candy store or whatever, mom and candy bar once and now no candy bar, whatever. So now the kid's flailing on the floor. I tend to use a lot of human examples to get them to understand.
It's more
things.
relatable.
So ultimately did fade out. I think maybe 4 or 5 days in, I said, okay, here's what I want you to do now. And so this is the big thing with dog training, right? Is like, I have so much fun with it because it's for each individual dog. It's never the same. It's never the same. As much as I want it to be, so I can cookie cutter and like, bam, I know what this is. Bam, you do know, you recognize, but no, this one, there's 2 functions here, right? It's not just attention. And I go through the functions with the clients.
Yeah.
I do.
It makes
And they're
sense.
like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you too. 4 right here.
Yeah.
Right. I know that John Bailey,
Because it's
John
not
Bailey,
just human
awesome.
behavior, it's behavior.
Yeah. And I'm like, so he wrote a book, co-authored, I think he co-authored on it. So, and he talked about a 5th function in dog training. And it's them basically telling you, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, or signaling for needs. And I'm like, that's attention. Stop. Right. So cool. That's all good. But
Or escaping an uncomfortable feeling
Yeah.
of, I have to use the bathroom.
yeah. Right. So I'm like, here's 4. And we talk about them and I give examples. And then, but so with this lady, I'll jump back over there. She's amazing. And she's doing everything I'm asking and suggesting. Right. And then I said, well, why don't we do this? And this is why I said individualized, little plans, because that's what it is. And just like dogs, humans, we behave individually first before groups and cultures, subcultures, all that good stuff. So anyway, I said, start a routine at night, just like a baby, just like a toddler,
Yeah.
right? You know, we have the lavender soaps for baths. We have, you know, music playing. You got, you know, Beethoven in the background.
Mhm.
She's like, really? Very highly educated lady, very, very, very smart, much smarter than I am. And I'm not very smart at all either, but she's very, very smart. And she's like, I didn't think of that. And I'm like, yeah, like try that. I'm not saying it's going to hit, but it may hit. And so she starts doing it. And I said, start like 15, 20 minutes prior to your bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, signaling this means it's calm down time and we're done
Yeah.
for the night. And so, short story, although it's too late for that, she did that and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. And I was like, yes. I said yes to her, but in the background, I'm like jumping. I'm doing the cartwheels now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love it though. I do. I really do. Again, but it's a transfer of knowledge and it's being able to see people light up when they put it together and they're like, oh shit, you're not just babbling. It actually makes sense, but you're just so excited about it. Right. So,
Yeah. Kind of jumping back, like way, way back, knowing everything you know now about human behavior, animal behavior, dog behavior, do you notice a lot of the things in maybe like your early 20s, early 30s that you were like, that wasn't right? I didn't do that right. Or I wasn't given appropriate reinforcement, or certain things were more punishing than others. Like, do you analyze your life through a different lens now that you know everything that you do now?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much so that within the next probably 3 years, I'll have a book, memoir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm working on.
Very cool.
Because I have all this stuff that I'm babbling about now to put in there, which is kind of my foundation, right? And what brought me to this point, because it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of lessons learned along the way, and I'm still learning. So for me, memoir, and only not to highlight myself, because quite honestly, that's one of the things that I've learned over the years that I need to give less shit about. And I don't mean that in a way that's like, okay, don't care about yourself, but care about others.
Yeah.
Because I know self-love is a big thing, and, you know, making sure that you're good. If you're not good, nobody's good around you, right?
Yeah.
So obviously realizing that, but also realizing that, you know, and growing as a command sergeant major in the military, it's like everything is about everybody else.
Yeah.
And you know, just as a parent, right? Same. But a lot of those lessons come up for me thinking back when I was young 20s and stuff, right? When you just don't know and you think you know everything. You don't know shit, right?
I think that's the time when you think you do know everything.
Yeah.
Like your early 20s is you're in your head, you're the smartest you're ever going to be. You're the most handsome. You're the most productive.
I was never
and
that. Yeah.
you're making up for it now.
Yeah. Well, depends on the filters we have on. But,
Yeah.
It'll be good. Again, if they can make me look good, they
yeah.
can make
Am I purple
anybody.
or red? Usually I'm red, so it's all good.
magenta.
Yeah, magenta.
Yeah.
That's a good mix.
There you go.
That's a good mix. But yeah, no, I mean, all of these things that brought me here. And so it's funny you mentioned that, but I do it all the time. And then, you know, my significant other, my fiance is like, hey, are you analyzing me? And that's usually always a question. You get, right?
I love when people
I'm
do
like,
that.
I think I'm so beyond that with everybody in general,
Yeah.
right? That, because I think when you first start like your ABA career, you're like, you know, there's shirts out there for you, right? Because I had them, right? But then that starts to fade out, and I guess satiation, right? Like you're just doing it so much, it's happening all the time. And now I guess for me, I'm at a point where unless it's something that's brought up that seems to be an issue that's causing a problem,
Yeah.
I try to stay away from being too analytical, because then I just run in circles and I'm like, it's this, and I know it's this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, how do I shape that behavior in a different way than it is? And you end up getting yourself in a lot of trouble. But no, I don't. I try not to do that much now, unless, of course, I need it. So I think what I'm doing is what would be contrast behavior? No, maybe. I'm applying it with dogs now. I'm like, I need a source, an outsource for this venting source.
Yeah.
So, but So Ruff University, all about trying to give back in a way that's impacting a lot of different areas, though. So again, not just our behavior, but your dog's behavior. But how can I teach you about everything in ABA for the most part?
Yeah.
Through your dog, because you love your dog. Yeah. So dogs are a big hit. I think during COVID, the numbers went up to like 70%.
Yeah.
And households have a dog. So for me, I'm like, all right, I can win doing this.
And you enjoy it.
I
That's
do.
like the
Yeah.
number one thing.
I do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I love dogs, right? So, but you don't know if you're going to like doing that. And you also don't want to ruin something good, right? It's like, I enjoy this topic. I enjoy dealing with others and dogs, but you don't want to overdo it either.
Yeah.
But for me, it's been a very enjoyable experience. I've only had a couple tough conversations, but they went rather smoothly. And it's more so about, hey, listen, like, again, I can't, I'm not a magician. I don't know everything in the world, right?
Yeah.
I wish I did. I'd be making a lot more money.
Yeah.
But here is the science, and here's what the science says. And I'm telling you that if you hear me out on this, this is going to be effective.
Yeah.
But if people are like, yeah, no, I don't have the time to do that. I'm
That's
like,
the
well,
biggest thing.
if you, I've honestly told people, like, if you want to pay me to show up here, I have no problem doing that. Like, you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
You are wasting your money. Because I want it to work.
Yeah.
Because like I said, all of my clients, like, if you have to understand something, behavior is so important. Your behavior is so important that if you're not doing these things, your dog doesn't do these things. And then I look like shit. And you blame me.
Yeah.
I look like shit. You're like, nah, Jack was here and
Zero
the dog
stars.
doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't
Zero
know what he's
stars,
talking
right?
about.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't do anything. Yeah, you gave up on me. So, yeah. And so beside, coming back and actually kicking off, opening up a facility to help people, there's going to be some medical stuff involved there too. My lady's in the medical side of the house,
Okay.
not animals yet, but
Not yet.
yeah. And then I'll probably end up doing some business consulting, my other way of disseminating behavior analysis. What better way to take ABA and apply it in a business field? And that's why I went DBA.
Yeah.
Because every business thinks they know what they're talking about and what they're doing. And they won't openly admit that there's a problem. So I want to be the guy that comes in and says, hey, let me do this assessment for you, and I'll have the tough conversation with you. If you're honest about it yourself, right? So as my license plate says, own it. Don't look for me. Like, own that shit, whether it's good, bad, or whatever it is. Like, if it's bad, fix it, right?
Yeah.
If it's good, all right, make it even better, right? And the same with businesses, the same with dog training, the same with everything, right?
Yeah.
So ABA and learning and the career field has definitely, it's caused me a lot of problems because I can't stop thinking about all these things.
You go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's a burden, but it's like it's the gift and the curse type thing, where you know so much, but it's also you see so much.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
You see it all, like everywhere you go. You can't walk into a store without being like,
See, but he can turn it off. I can't. I sit in a restaurant and I'm like, this is going on over here. This is like, I'm all ears
you can-
everywhere
you
except
can
for what's in
hear
front of me.
the tantrum being like, oh, here's the iPad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
One thing I always truly believe in, I think we all kind of do, is failure teaches us so much. And throughout all of our lives, we've failed at so many things because you have to fail to succeed at some point. You don't just wake up and become the greatest or the smartest or know what you want to do or what you're doing without being bad at it first.
Yeah.
Trying it, failing it, and then getting back up and saying, oh, that didn't work. So let me try it again. What has your failures in life taught you?
I'm still failing. Right? Yeah, no, really everything. It's kind of funny that you bring that up because on the way here, again, me chasing rabbits down rabbit holes. I do this all the time, right? So on the way here, I was listening to a podcast and I actually had to finish it before I came in. There was like 4 minutes left. I'm like, I got to finish this. It was like leadership stuff, right? Because that's my drive is leadership. And I love being able to influence people to become better humans, right? But one of the things in that podcast, funny, we're on a podcast, but it had mentioned something that made me think, and it has to do with failure too, right? So like there are good leaders and there are bad leaders. And then everybody's always like, oh, well, you need both of them. Yeah, you absolutely do. But
Why do you need a bad leader? Just to learn?
To learn
what
from
to
them.
what not to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we were on the same
Yeah.
page here.
yeah. Yeah. So, but it was like, I had a moment driving in and I was thinking like, yeah, like that's kind of something I would probably wrap up into one of my soldier conversations in the future. Because we always say it's like good and bad leaders, and you learn from bad leaders just as much as you do from good leaders. Mm-hmm. Good leaders set you up. They empower you, right? Mm-hmm. They know how to influence behavior, right? But it's about being in the right spot at the right time and giving you the opportunity to grow and to go after it. Yeah. And then you have the other side of that where, somebody just doesn't give a shit, or they're not confident or competent enough in themselves that they don't want anybody knowing anything around them. And that becomes really, really dangerous. But good leaders are going to walk you, give you a roadmap, but sometimes let you stumble a bit to learn. But do it in a way that's safe and in a way that's going to be ultimately productive or effective, because you're going to learn from it. And they know that because, well, what do you need to do first and foremost before anything with anybody is establish a relationship, establish a rapport, right? Trust bond. Dogs, same thing. Yes. So, so a lot of those have come from really good leaders that I've had in my life. And that doesn't mean that they were titled as, generals and, other sergeants major, which they absolutely have been too. But that can even be a family member, even your kids sometimes, right? Because you're leading anytime you're kind of in charge of something, running something, and able to influence, shape behavior for the greater good and for the purpose of that mission, whatever it may be. Yeah. It could be something in Disney. It doesn't matter, right? So anybody could be a leader at any time. But those failures are huge. And then there's a lot of times where I failed on my own, right? And so those are the fun times when you're looking back. They suck at the time, but I think those are the moments where you're like, I'm an idiot. Like that was really, really, really just a dumb decision.
I think that's so important, though, being able to call yourself out.
Yeah.
Pinpoint the action that maybe wasn't the best, and then using that as a learning opportunity to grow for the future. Yeah. I think that's what makes a good leader, honestly, because you're not going to be perfect. But being able to identify those action items and then move on from them is, again, it sets apart the people who are great and the people who are not. Yeah,
but a lot of them, a lot of people, and I watched it throughout my career, and there's times even where in leadership roles where you're like, you're kind of walking a line. You're like, wait a minute, I remember so-and-so kind of behave that way. And you're like, no, because this is what I would have changed about that situation, right? But, you have to, I think that out of all of that is self-awareness is what it comes down to. I think that's in the 5 principles, isn't it? Somewhere in there, pinpointing, and it has to do with self-awareness.
See what I did
there? So I've read it. I do not have a signed copy, Brett. But so.
Well, before we wrap up, I want to ask a very controversial question.
There we go.
What's your favorite dog breed?
Oh. Yeah. So that's a big one, right?
What kind is Greedo?
The long-haired dachshund.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I know what's happening here. You're all setting me up. I see what's happening. Shaping the environment here for me to some antecedent stuff going on.
No, we can be adults
here.
and agree to disagree. It's
antecedent variables, right?
Yeah. Snakes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what your lifestyle is, what your, you know what I mean? Because that's going to change, right? So I love Malinois. I love German Shepherds. Obviously, I'm a military law enforcement guy, right?
Working breed.
Yeah, but they're a lot. So, but I also like Great Danes. I like, I like Dobermans. I do.
Beagles.
Beagles, yes. I love all the all the beautiful beagle noises. They've got like 12 different.
Them and
they're kind of like a pull string. Like
Huskies.
They have a different one every time.
Yeah.
I think Huskies take the cake
they'll
on
sing
the noises.
Yeah, and there's some really good singers out there on the internet too. Huskies. Yeah. But
All right.
So I
well,
hope
thanks
that
for playing that game.
didn't answer your question. Yeah. I love all dogs, all dog breeds, right? And you know what? It's actually good that you brought that up, because I will say this. And this is something I've learned over time is, so we're always hell-bent on, a German Shepherd. Like, so my dog is German Shepherd. His mom was purebred German Shepherd who met with a
Long coat or short coat?
Mastiff. He's got both.
Oh.
He's got 2 coats. He's got probably 30 coats.
Well,
I don't know what's
you know what you
happening there. Yeah.
Is it Shiloh
Just
or is
super
it a regular
layered.
In
shepherd?
between.
Super
No,
layered.
it's like in between.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, he's adorable. Of course, I'm going to say he's my dog, right? But it gets really cool watching. Like, sometimes he's like, why bother, George? Right? And it's like, dude, are you there? The elevator's going up. Are you in there? Right? And then you go to the full out, like, predacious drive. This dog is 100 plus pounds and he is fast. He's faster than probably most of the dogs that I've worked with. And I'm like, where do you get it from?
Yeah.
And it's at GSD drive. But maybe in a couple of years, something, I don't know, maybe English Mastiff, maybe something just bigger and lazier. And, I guess it depends on your lifestyle and that kind of thing. But
Yeah, I like that. It reminds me of the beginning of 101 Dalmatians when everybody's walking their dog and they look and act just like their dog.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it is funny. A lot of people look like their dog. I've noticed that too as a dog trainer. Not saying anything. So if any of my clients watch this, that's not what I'm
Honestly,
saying.
it makes sense.
I think that's what
It
happens.
makes
like,
sense.
like this thing that comes into your train of thought, and you're like, because you've heard that before. It's like
They start to pick up on your mannerisms.
earworm.
I will say that.
Yeah. So with that said, where I was going with that was all dog breeds. So German Shepherd, we'll say, right? Or Dobermans or Rottweilers or whatever. You love them. That's great. But no, not, I could say 50 German Shepherds. Not one of them has been exactly the same as the other.
That makes sense.
So, and that's something that's big in the field is like, all dogs are, they're individuals for, and a lot of trainers don't really understand what they're saying when they say that.
Yeah.
It's because it's behavioral science.
Yeah.
That's why. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously history is everything, right? But genetics and stuff like that. But it's amazing. You can take 2 German Shepherds or 50 German Shepherds and they're all going to do different things. And, unless they're all together, come up together, same history and similar genetic makeup. Yeah. So I've seen some working dogs that were like not even close to being, that way, if you will, super high motor drive, chasing everything in the yard and that kind of thing. But, yeah.
Perfect.
It's like about a little over an hour.
Yeah.
Are we?
That's why I wanted to
Yeah.
slip that
I've-
last question in.
I've talked that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes by very fast.
Yeah. Well, he had me muted half of the time. So, yeah. I would have muted
Hold
me
your
too.
plug.
So before we go, where can our listeners find you?
ruffuniversity.com and then on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, I'm still on there. At Ruff University, RUFF University, all one word. And if you type it in Google search, I'll come up because it's quite unique. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
this was
It
fun.
really was an honor. I wanted to come and geek out really about ABA stuff, and so I try to put a lot more of that in there. But I do apply it directly to all of my dog training, and I try to really share that with people because I want them to be able to use that. Not that your dogs and your kids are the same, but I want them to understand the principles and the foundation, because if you do, the shit that I'm telling you will help you with your kids too. And, so sometimes they're like, wait a minute. Like I can do like a planned ignore or whatever. I know that's an attention function, but again, I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Check out thekarmacollection.com for stylish, ABA-inspired apparel that spreads the message of behavior science with every wear. Free shipping on orders over $120. thekarmacollection.com.